Our military analyst Sean Bell is here with me now. Sean, probably useful for us to start by you explaining just what the Philadelphia Corridor actually is.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jane. The Philadelphi Corridor or route is a 9-mile strip of land. It marks the border between Egypt and Gaza. It's about 100 metres wide. The name is a bit random, but apparently it was generated by the Israeli army some decades ago. But Philadelphia it is. It's an interesting background as well.
It's this bit here.
Yeah, it's the little area that's labelled there. That's, I say, it's just across the border there. 1979, there was a peace accord between Egypt and Israel. At the time, that border therefore divided Rafah, the city of Rafah, in two. Subsequent years, it became very unstable. Egypt, therefore, levelled their side of the border, got rid of Rafah, their side of Rafah completely. But the part of the conflict continues. Now, the Israeli Defence Forces subsequently, after May this year, after more and more smuggling was occurring, they moved into the Philadelphi Corridor. And the challenge there, this was in direct violation of the 1978 peace accords that were famously presided over by Jimmy Carter with the Egyptian president and the then Israeli prime minister.
And we heard Netanyahu say there, until it can be guaranteed that this area is not being used as a route to supply arms to Hamas, and until it can be guaranteed it's safe. I mean, it seems to me that is almost an impossibility that those guarantees could ever be given.
It is, but I think it's worth putting a bit of context around this as to why he's now focusing on this. Prime Minister Netanyahu's original objective was to reduce Hamas's ability to govern in the Gaza and also continue fighting as well. Now, with military action abating, then the question is, how do you stop Hamas rearming? Now, one of the options is an enduring military presence inside Gaza by the Israeli Defence Forces. That's probably why they're building some of these other corridors there. But during the peace negotiations that are ongoing, or at least the ceasefire negotiations, that's not an option that Hamas is willing to tolerate. So if you don't do that, how does Prime Minister Netanyahu stop the arms getting in? The way they're getting it at the moment, we look around the border, the Mediterranean Sea is a route in, incredibly difficult for the Iran and Hamas to get them in that route because Israel stamps that down. Most of the rest of the border is with Israel itself. Again, almost impossible to get any arms through. So nearly all of it actually comes from the Egypt area. And therefore, that's why this Philadelphia corridor has become so topical at the moment and why it's a big focus for Prime Minister Netanyahu. What is also interesting, though, the US have said that actually, although military means is one way of controlling it, there are technology solutions that might also be able to do that without having the Israeli forces there.
So, yeah, what are the options that Netanyahu now has?
Well, if you want to have an enduring IDF presence anywhere around here, it's going to add to tensions in the region, and that clearly isn't going to work. The problem with military action, it sets the conditions for a political solution to endure. Military action is largely finished. What does that political solution look like? And unfortunately, given that Israel and Hamas, visceral hatred there, ultimately this has got to be the US and potentially one major Arab state involved that encourage, coerce or find a way of peaceful coexistence. It might sound like a nirvana, but unless there's hope, unless there's security, unless there's prosperity for all the people in the region, the danger is all sides are looking for a short-term sticky plaster rather than an enduring solution, because otherwise you and I are going to be commentating on this again in a few years' time.